Are you on the brink of crashing your motorcycle without even realizing you're making these mistakes? I've been coaching on the racetrack since 2014, and these are the most common mistakes I've observed. Fear not, though, for I will provide you with the remedy to rectify these mistakes and keep you safe. Stick around until the end, and I'll give you my biggest tips that will really increase your confidence in corner entry. In these videos that I'm about to show, I'm not trying to anyone for their riding. For one, that's gross. Two, I'm not into that kind of thing. This is just to help you fix the mistakes that you might not know that you're making. If you yourself have any suggestions of anything that I haven't hit on, just leave them in the comments to help other future new riders. Mistake number one: rigid like a breadstick. You're rigid like a breadstick. You've got no rhythm. I see time and time again riders riding like a stale breadstick. Their arms are locked, they're very rigid. And what this does is it fatigues you a lot quicker and you don't have a very good feedback from the front end of your motorcycle. So all you have to do is relax a little bit, have a slight little bend in your elbows, and that'll improve your riding and handling and feedback on the front end drastically. Continuing on with the rigidity, the infamous death grip. So when you ride your motorcycle, I hear a lot of people complaining about arm pump. Arm pump is when you feel a burning sensation in your forearms. This comes from gripping the handlebars way too tightly. And again, what this does is fatigues you a lot quicker and minimizes the feedback that you're going to get from the front end. An example I've seen and I like to show and demonstrate is if you pick up a pencil and you grip it as hard as you can, or a smoke grenade, either way, and you grip it as hard as you can, you'll start to feel the burning in your forearms. So relax that grip, doesn't need to be a death grip on it, and you'll see a drastic improvement in your riding. If you have a strong core and your feet are locked in properly, you're not going to have to use your arms as much on the handlebars. A rider that exaggerates this pretty well, that I think is a pretty good rider and rides a probably more powerful motorcycle than we do, is Jorge Lorenzo. You'll see him using 2 fingers to 3 fingers when he's going through the corner. And you can clearly see here where I'm exaggerating that myself, using 2 fingers as I'm going through this corner, where I don't need to hold on that much on the handlebars as I go through that corner. And what this does is provides you with a lot of feedback on the front end of what it's doing. So relax when you ride. If you get this next mistake wrong, you won't be able to relax in the most optimal way. And that is mistake number 2, foot placement. A lot of riders complain about dragging their feet, and this is because they have their heel locked into the foot peg. And what this does is reduces your ground clearance when you're cornering. So that's why they're scraping their toes. It also doesn't make you very agile on the motorcycle. So you want to ride on the balls of your feet. When you're entering a left-hand corner, you want to lock your heels in on the outside foot peg and be on the balls of your feet with the left foot peg. The outside foot is going to help you pick up the motorcycle on corner exit, and it's also going to provide you with stability. The inside foot being on the balls of your feet is going to allow for your knee to stick out towards the corner. This will help you move around the motorcycle a lot easier, and it'll help you grip the tank with your legs. If you have some pit bull stands, you can practice moving around with your lower core, not even using your upper body, just using the lower body to move around the motorcycle. Now that we've got some body mistakes out of the way, let's talk about vision. Mistake number 3 is poor visualization. At the speeds that we're traveling on 2 wheels, the objects are flying by faster than we think, and this reduces our reaction time. That's why you've probably heard you always want to look up, you want to look through the turn, and you want to have some reference points on the racetrack. Having 4 good reference points in turns will help you build confidence in corner entry and corner exit. Your first reference point should be initial braking, the time that you get onto the brakes. So have a visual reference point, whether it is the numbers that they have on the left side of the track, a crack in the track, but something that when you approach, you know exactly where you're applying your brakes. And this can help you improve your corner entry, whether you need to increase a little bit in marginally to go a little bit faster in corner entry, or whether you're entering too fast and running wide inside the corner. Your second reference point should be turn in. This is where you turn in the motorcycle into the turn. This will help you decide whether you're running too wide or you're cutting in too early into the turn. If you're running over the rumble strips of the apex, you know you've turned in too early. If you're missing the apex completely, you might have had a bit of a late turn-in, so you can dial that in with a turn-in reference point. Your third reference point should be the apex. This is going to be the slowest part of the turn. This is going to be where you're going to start transitioning from brake to gas. And this will give you an idea if you need to get on the gas a little bit earlier, a little bit harder. How your exit is depends on when you're getting on the throttle. If you're exiting the turn and you're very far away from the outside rumble strips, you know you can get on the gas a little bit earlier or a little bit harder. If you're having to chop your throttle, it means you need to dial down the acceleration or accelerate a little bit later when your bike is a little bit more straight up and down. And the fourth point would be having a exit reference point. So you're able to look through the turn as you're accelerating out of the corner. And what this does is it decreases the fear of the motorcycle's rear tire spinning out or stepping out, because if you're looking too close to the racetrack, it's going to feel a lot more dramatic, a lot more drastic than if you're looking down the track and you feel the rear end slide. You have a lot more time to adjust. Having good reference points will give you building blocks to improve upon and know where you are on track. No pun intended. And I don't know if it's a common theme with riders. When something happens, like the rear end steps out or the front end pushes, and you just kind of like look back, you're like, did anyone else see that? It's like a reflex to look back when something happens, when you have a little moment on the racetrack to look back. Speaking of seeing, this is another one that I see time and time again on the racetrack. Picture this. You're on the racetrack, there's a group ahead of you, a good ways ahead, you catch up to that group, and then for some reason you just can't get around that rider or that group. The next thing you know, you're frustrated because you can't get around this rider or this group that you just got to. So mistake number 4 is target fixation. And this comes from fixating on the rider or the group that's ahead of you. Before, you were riding on your own lines, your own reference points, and that's what allowed you to go faster. And then all of a sudden, you start riding behind this rider, you start riding their pace and their lines. The fix for this is to look through that rider, through that group, in conjunction with using your reference points to get around that rider or that group of riders. And this last mistake that I see, you can have your feet set up perfectly, you can have amazing reference points, but if you don't implement this one tip, you will be a very inconsistent rider. Mistake number 5. Not setting up early. Early setup in a corner is imperative. It gives you consistency and it gives you confidence. If you set up right before the turn, your suspension is going to be out of whack, bouncing up and down. You're not going to have a consistent entry. Before you even touch the brakes, you want to start scooting your butt over off the seat and set up for that turn. That way, when you get to turn in, there is no input that you need to do on the motorcycle as far as moving to the side. You're already set up, ready to take that turn. So scoot your butt over and then get on the brakes. This will give you the most consistent turn in and precise turn in. And that in turn gives you a lot of confidence. This is definitely one of the biggest ones that I see new riders do all the time. A little bonus tip on this one too is if there's a very small straightaway in between the next turn, just stay off of the saddle. There's no need to exit the corner, get back in the neutral saddle, get back off of the motorcycle to take the turn. When you're exiting the turn, just tuck your body into the motorcycle, leaving your butt out, and then when you approach the next turn, you're already set up. It's less inputs on the motorcycle, it fatigues you less. Riding is a pretty tiring sport, as you know. A perfect example of this would be turn 3 to 4 at VIR. You don't lose any time on the slipstream. It's what the professionals are doing when they're racing. They're just staying off of the seat until they get to turn 4 and taking that turn. Like I said before, if I've missed any tips and you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments for other riders to see. I hope you learned something today about the mistakes and the remedies that you can make. Don't apply all of them at the same time. Focus on one, improve on that one, and then move on to the next one. If you found any value at all in the video, be sure to use your clutch or throttle hand to leave a like, and I will see you in the next one.